Hey, talking to myself. Welcome to the podcast. I know that you gon' feel Dave Sands the second, talking movies and gaming, even anime. Yeah, I might just go Super Saiyan. 242, the Bahamas, we gon' rep. Don't be anxious about nothing. Philippians 4:6. Sharing about my life, sharing about God's truth. Always keep it real when I'm talking to myself. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Talking to Myself. Welcome to the podcast with your host with the very most, Dave Sands numero dos. We are back once again for another week. We are back. We are here. We are present. I hope everyone is doing extremely well. We just got off a beautiful holiday weekend. So this week was very short, so I hope everyone had an enjoyable weekend. If you're from the Bahamas. But nonetheless, we are here. We move. We are on episode 14. I like 14 because I'm born on July 14th, 1996. So 14 has a special place for me. So I am excited to be here with all of you. Full transparency. Recording this a day later than I usually do. I've been getting back into my exercise, been doing my runs, been doing my push-ups, man. I'm feeling good, bro. Feeling real good. So I'm really happy to be bringing back the physical side of myself and bringing some balance in that way. You know what I'm saying? It's good to be back physically, mentally, and, well, for this spiritually, right? So we are here. We have another exciting episode for you all today. Majority of this episode, we will be talking about the Jesus March, the first one that I've been to, and then the second one that's happening very soon, which we'll get into. Is there anything else we're going to be talking about in this episode? Maybe how I'm feeling. I don't know. We are really going to be, I wouldn't say winging it, but this is a very open episode this time. So let's have some fun along the way. Let's vibe, let's chill, we move. And yeah, we will definitely have some fun. So yeah, we're back, episode 14. To be honest with everybody here, I am exhausted. No idea why. I am tired, bro. Anyone else feeling tired? Like, I mean, I'm not doing anything different, but the sleep just feels like you're not getting like enough hours. Bro, I just felt like kind of drained this week for no particular reason, really. Just felt like, I don't know, just one of those weeks where the sleep just ain't hitting the same. You know, you got those weeks where the sleep just be hidden and you're just like, yes, yes, thank you, bed, for giving me the sleep. And then other times you're just like, what is happening? You know what I mean? So feeling a little bit tired this week, but nonetheless, we are here recording the show. Anything interesting happened this week? Over the holiday, had a lot of fun, relax firstly, really just vibed out. The Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 beta came out over that weekend, and my goodness, did I play an unhealthy amount of that game. Weekend 2 of the beta comes out this week, and I'm going to be all over that. I love sniping in the game. Actually, this is a new segment, Dave's game review. The game feels good, you know. The game feels really good. Is it like the old Call of Duties? It'll never be like old school COD, but it's really nice to have some of those feelings back. They brought back MW2 maps, which is really nice. I'm more of an MW3 guy. That's my first Call of Duty that I ever played. But it was such an enjoyable experience to play those MW2 maps in high definition at 120 frames per second, brother. And so, yeah, the beta 2 out this weekend, like weekend 2, which will be the last time you could play before the game officially comes out next month. And so, buddy, I'm going to be all over that. It's on like Donkey Kong, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to be vibing on that. It's going to be very fun. And I really enjoy the movement in the game. Sniping feels good again, which is good. So that's good for me as a sniper. and it's just big vibes, man. I'm really enjoying the game thus far. And then you got you got Spider-Man coming out, I believe, at the end of this month, which is gonna be hype. You also got Super Mario Bros. Wonder, which is also coming out. I'm just like, ay basura, why? ¿Qué pasó? Why is there so many good games coming out right now? We're getting into that Christmas season, and so the game's gonna be flying. Excited for the Christmas season as well, but yeah, some good games are coming out over these next few months. The dinero hopefully will come in as well to afford these games, but nonetheless, a lot of good games are coming out. So overall, play the COD beta. Got to catch up with some friends, which is always really good. I've been finding myself doing a lot more on weekends, spending time with people, which I think is good for me. Like, being more social over these last few months has been such a blessing for me, connecting with people physically than just online. Is truly a blessing, and it's really nice to connect with people in that way. So it was just a really fun weekend last week. I love full weekends like that, where I'm kind of busy in a good way, where it doesn't feel overwhelming. Don't know what this weekend has. Probably just gonna chill out for sure. Hopefully, maybe I have an outing here or there. But if not, then you can always do it next week. So yeah. Other than that, and other than feeling a little bit tired this week, I'm doing well, man. God is always good. He's ever present in my life, and He's been showing me so many different things. And so I truly can't complain about life, really. Another day of life is a blessing in itself, so we keep it going. We try to stay positive. Obviously, there are going to be down days, but nonetheless, man, I'm doing well. So yeah, I guess that's a quick weekend/life update about me. And so now we'll transition into the broader topic of today's episode, which is the Jesus March. And I talked about this literally in the pilot episode 1. Can't believe we're 14 episodes in. It's been so long since then. The show has changed in, I think, a lot of different ways. We got a real microphone, we launched actually, and so it's been good. And as always, I truly appreciate the support from everybody who's been listening on YouTube, who's subscribed there, who's listened on, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you for tuning in and sending your warm wishes. I mean, I can't say this enough. Like, truly, like, it means a lot to me to get that encouragement. It keeps me going. And actually, I got my first YouTube comment from someone that I do not know whatsoever. And it was interesting to get a comment back, which means like the show has started to maybe get like a little bit of traction on YouTube. The YouTube algorithm is very hard to understand, at least for me, in terms of engagement, all that different stuff. But I found the comment very interesting. It was a comment of encouragement, which is a good thing. But it said something along the lines, like, actually, let me see if I could find that really quick. Yeah. Again, I see it right here. Yeah. And so it reads that it's from with Pop L. That's his username on YouTube. And the comment he left was that 90% of podcasts don't make it to episode 21. Keep going, and remember that you're not doing this for you. You're doing it to help others. He who has a strong why can bear anyhow. Have a blessed and beautiful day. And man, I was just like, wow. First off, thank you for the encouragement to keep going. And the reminder that this is not just for me, but this is also to help others, which it is. But I also think this helps me at the same time. So by helping y'all, it helps me as well. And I just found that interesting that 90% of podcasts don't make it to episode 21. I don't know how deep that stat is or what like population that was tested against, but that gave me some motivation to make it to episode 21. So yeah, thank you so much for that comment, and hopefully Lord willing, I will make it to episode 21. And thankfully, I released 8 episodes one time. So I'm kind of ahead in that way. Or was it 9 episodes? I think it was 9 episodes I released at one time. But yeah, anyway, sorry I kind of went off on a tangent. But the main thing we're going to be talking about on this episode, as mentioned before, is the Jesus March. And so, backstory, like I said, sorry, backstory. The first Jesus, I don't know, can I say stuff? Yeah. The first Jesus March happened in August of this year, I believe. And I can't believe that we're in October. I mean, golly, time flies when you're having fun, but seriously, bro, like, I was literally just in August the other day. But the first Jesus March happened in August of this year, and it was put on by a group, or I should say my group now, called IOT, which stands for It's Our Turn. And so the premise, and forgive me if anyone's listening to this who's a part of IOT and I'm getting anything wrong, I apologize. But this is kind of like the message I've been spreading about what IOT is, at least what it feels like to me. And so, yeah, IOT stands for It's Our Turn, and it means that, and I hope I'm getting this right, but, you know, it's our turn as young people to spread the gospel and spread the good news, right? And so that's what it's about. It's our turn to spread the gospel, to help individuals, to serve, be servants for the Lord, and to serve our communities and in the ways that we can. And so I joined the organization after the first Jesus March. And I kind of want to give the story of that day, what it meant to me, and then we'll fast forward to the next one that's coming up at the end of this month. So yeah. So my experience with the Jesus March, well, I'll backtrack first a little ways back. So I had plans to join IOT earlier. I remember I messaged, I don't know who runs our Instagram page, but I messaged our person, whoever runs Instagram and our social media account, be like, you know, I'm interested in joining. And then I didn't get a response back until weeks later. And then I was just like, but I ain't joining this organization no more. I didn't even get a message back on time. I was just like, no, I'm not doing it. I don't want to do it. You know, it is what it is. So I didn't answer back. I'm just being honest here. I'm just being honest. Okay, yeah. So, yeah. Continuing on, I started to see over the next few weeks and months that, you know, this Jesus March was being promoted by the IOT Instagram page. And, you know, I knew like 1 or 2 people that were a part of the organization, but I did not know everybody. I like I said, 1 or 2, I didn't know a lot of people. It was going to be a new environment for me. And so there was an opportunity to create signs for the Jesus March and like help volunteer. So essentially during the march we held, you know, Jesus Saves, or, you know, different signs that people could see while we marched the streets of Nassau. And so I said to myself, you know what, I'm going to sign up for it. I'm going to message the group, or, well, actually I text like the WhatsApp number, and I'm going to volunteer. And so I sent that message, I think the Saturday before the week before the march was going to happen. And so, you know, that the day was coming up, I believe it was a Thursday, when we were going to do the sign creation. And, you know, when at least for me, you know, when you're going into a new environment and you don't really know what to expect, there is a level of anxiety and there is a level of nerves that do come out, right? And so I was just thinking about how, like, okay, I don't know how this is going to go. I don't know, like, what's going to happen here. I just don't know, you know, but I said that, you know, I made a commitment. I promised to go. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the sign creation event, and we'll see what happens. If it doesn't go well, then no love lost. I tried something, it didn't work out, that's okay. But if it goes well, then great. And so I went out. I went out, and I pulled up to Grace Community Church, where it was being held. And I remember seeing one of my old homies from the Kingsway days, and I was just like, hey, what's going on, bro? Came here to volunteer. And then, I walked down the hallway, opened the door, and, I was greeted by everybody, and I immediately felt welcome, right? And so after that day, that day I helped create the signs, was a part of the sign creation on that day, and that was that day. And so then we fast forward to the actual day of the Jesus March, which was on a Saturday. And so I remember waking up that morning. I was moving a little slow, no lie. I don't know why I was moving so slow, but I was. And so by the time, I forgot what time the march was. Was it like 9 or 10? Was it 9 or 10? I'm going to confirm this right now, by the way. 9 or 10. I cannot confirm that right now. Okay, let's just say for argument's sake that it was for 9, right? And so I essentially was running late. It was like 8 o'clock. I didn't have any breakfast. I was just like, okay, well, I guess I'm not going to eat any breakfast this morning, even though I had plans to eat my oatmeal. I couldn't eat my oatmeal, and if you know me, I like my oatmeal, so yeah. And so, I remember stepping outside my house, looking at my car. I was just like, okay, this tire needs some air, so, we don't want to catch a flat, so, okay, fine. I'm going to fill the tire with air, which kind of helped me back a little bit more. And so, I filled it, actually, reverse order, filled the tire with air, then I went inside, got dressed, and then I got into the car and skirted down to Arawak, where the march was going to begin. And so I remember pulling up to the Arawak parking lot. Like, if those who are familiar with Arawak, on the right side, there's just this big parking lot area. So that's where everybody was. And so, parked there, pulled up, saw some of the IOT members, and I saw that they were in prayer. And so a lot of us just kind of joined the prayer that was happening. And, after that, dapped up some of them, say hi, I told you I was coming, kept my promise, whatnot. And so essentially that time we were just waiting, right? We were waiting first for the police to come, because for marches and things like that, you need like police escort, you need a police permission. I'm sorry, the word escapes me right now, but you need police permission for something like that. And so once they arrived, the rain also arrived, and the rain began to pour. And I mentioned this on Instagram. I said this, I think I might have said this in episode 1, but I cannot stand the rain. I cannot stand the rain. I do not like the rain. Why? It breaks my sleep. I don't understand how people could sleep in the rain. I like evenings to be silent. You hear me? Silent. You hear that, T? I want it to be silent. You know what I'm saying? I cannot deal with noise while I sleep. And that's what the rain is to me. Noise. It disturbs my flow of sleep. You add some thunder and lightning, well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not getting any sleep. So that's why I don't like the rain. And I just don't like the rain in general. When I think of the rain, one drop of rain touch my hair, sniffles off rip. I feel like I'm about to get sick, brother. Put my hair in some AC, it's ripperoni, pepperoni, dead on the ride, right? So I don't like rain because it could also cause me to get sick. Fun facts of the day. And so, the rain began to pour that day. It started to spray a little bit. And the crazy thing about that was, like, some people had umbrellas, some people didn't. But as soon as those police came out there and it was time to actually march, we just marched, bro. Nobody cared, really. We started at Iwaki, and then as we gradually was walking down, the rain came down, bro. Like, that thing, bro, that rain was pouring, brother. Like, it was insane. Like, signs were getting, frankly, they were getting destroyed by the rain. But it really didn't matter, man. You know, when you're out there doing something for the Lord, you really don't care about what's really happening outside of that. Like, the surroundings, it doesn't matter. And so if you could imagine like a truck in the front was the police in the front? Yeah, probably the police in front. Then there was a truck with speakers on it playing Christian gospel music. Then after that, you have like us, the marchers, and then you have some leaders from IOT holding the sign that has the Jesus March on it, right? And so that was essentially the play. And so sometimes we would like stop and, you know, just let the music play and, you know, just kind of vibe out. By the time we got to Rawson Square, I mean, we were soaked. But it didn't matter. Like that, in Rawson Square, we took a little snack break, actually, which was really good, and water and things like that. That was really good. And listen to me. Like I told you, I did not have any breakfast that day, so them snacks were good. But yeah, as we continued to march through, I just was kind of taking it all in. You know, people were running around giving out tracts to tourists and giving out tracts to locals. And, you know, I think definitely our presence was seen. It was heard, bro. It was an amazing experience. As we continued past Rawson Square, went down, and we passed the bridges that go to PI. I just needed a banger to drop, bro. It felt like we were just building up to like a banger tune coming on, and when the DJ dropped, I keep calling it "It's Raining All Around Me." I'm going to get the name. I put the name on my Instagram. What is the name of the song? That's the full title. Hear My Cry, O Lord. When the DJ dropped, Hear My Cry, O Lord. And ladies and gentlemen, that rain was still pouring. And there's a part in the song that goes wet, 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 soak, soak, soak. Well, that's where the Junkanoo performance on Boxing Day came out, because I had to perform. My body just started to jump. I just went, bro. Actually, one of my pastors in my church was on the march too. And so he filmed me jumping up and down when that song came on. And so that's the video that was posted on my Instagram in one of my reels. And so that moment for me, I think, solidified the Jesus March. It was just like the rain came down, but it didn't matter whatsoever. I didn't care. And frankly, I like to believe that no one else cared that the rain was coming down. Frankly, I think it enhanced the march because it was cool, but also it just gave the song a lot more life. And it was just like, man, it was such a beautiful thing. And, you know, after that, we finally, you know, made it from Awaki to Montague. You know, we had a little message there. And, you know, that was the first Jesus March. And, you know, when I think about what that day meant to me, it meant, I guess for me, I've never been afraid to share my faith. I've never been afraid to talk about it with people and say I'm praying for them or share verses or anything like that. But it felt like in that day in particular, it was just like, that was kind of like the first time, like I was telling the world, like, hey world, y'all could do whatever y'all want to do. Y'all could put whatever policies or ideologies in place. But I know what I live for. I know what I stand for. And that's Christ. And that's what it really felt to me. It was like telling the world, like, this is who I am. And I don't have to hide my faith. I don't have to pretend that I agree with everything in the world. I don't have to anymore. I never had to. But that day was just like, this is where I could say who I am and proclaim that I am a Christian. And that is me, you know? And so that's what that day meant for me. It felt like I was representing God. It felt like this was where I was supposed to be. This was what I was supposed to do, you know? And for me, that moment will forever be special for me. You know, it will forever solidify a time in history for me, and in, I think, Bahamian history. Like, you know, we had a Jesus March in this country, and I'm grateful to still be living in a country where I could, you know, share my beliefs and share my faith. So I'm grateful for that, right? And so that day for me was very special. After that, you know, I joined IOT, and, you know, I never looked back ever since. And I think sometimes, and I was talking to one of my homies about this, I think at times there is fear to do stuff for the Lord. There is sometimes like hesitation, right? Like we hit that hezzy, like, oh, I don't know, should I do this, should I do that? But I think that's where faith comes in, right? Like where you have to take that leap of faith. One of my favorite verses, Philippians 4 verse 6 says, do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And so in that situation, when it came to the Jesus March, I had to beat my own anxiety. Like, hey, I'm nervous to come out here. I don't know anybody really that well in the organization, but I'm going to still come out and support. I'm going to still be present there. And to me, I think that was one of the best decisions I've made this year, was doing that, because it has opened so many doors for me, even pushed me to creating this show, right? And so there has just been a plethora of blessings that have flowed through from coming to the Jesus March. I know I mentioned a passage of scripture already, because I didn't even realize I was going to present Philippians 4 verse 6. That's the cool thing about a podcast. You don't know what you're going to say until you say it. But I had another memory verse that I think that could tie with this. And so I'm not going to go through the chapter in its entirety, but essentially it's coming from Mark 16. And so Mark 16, from a high level, it just talks about the resurrection of Jesus. So as we know, Jesus was crucified on the cross. He died for our sins. And 3 days later, he came back, and, you know, he beat death. And so there's a verse in Mark 16 that says, and this is what he was telling the disciples, and that's Mark 16 verse 15, and it says, and then he told them, go into all the world and preach the good news to everyone. Anyone who believes and is baptized will be saved. Sorry, that was 16 as well. But anyone who refuses to believe will be condemned. So yeah, more focus on Mark 16 verse 15. And then he told them, go into the world and preach the good news to everyone. And to me, I think that's what the Jesus March represents. It represents preaching the good news to those who may not know Christ. It's about preaching the good news to those who may have forgotten that God is there for them, that Christ did die on the cross for their sins. And I think that's what the Jesus March, to me, that's what it felt like, and that's what it represented. And so I think that transitions me into some more exciting news, is that we're doing it again, man. I didn't think we were going to do it this soon. I thought that we were going to do it next year, but no. We are doing Jesus March number 2 on October 28th, 2023. I almost said 2022, but we in 2023, almost in 2024, actually. And so we're doing it again, man. October 28th, 2023 at 9 a.m., sharper than a knife. We'll be marching again from Iraq Key to Montague Beach. It took about 2 hours to do that walk. I did a lot of jumping, so I was a little bit tired, but it was so worth it. And so I would like to push anyone who is thinking about attending to come out. I cannot tell you the impact that I did actually. I told you the impact that this march had on me, and I think this march will have a lot of impact on you too. There's something special about having a group of young people together for the Lord. There is something special about having some of the best Christian music out there playing to the top of your lungs. and having a Christian Junkanoo parade. There's something special about it. It was so special. Everyone came out there together for one purpose only, and that was to praise the Lord and say that, you know, Christ has come to save you, me, and everybody else. And so I urge those who are on the fence about coming out to come out. If I could be honest and transparent, I've been inviting a lot of people to this march, man. My voice is shocked. But I'm going to continue to invite people to this thing, because I do not want people to miss this. If you miss it the first time, that's okay, because you have another opportunity to come to it again. I don't know when the next one will happen. I would like to think that the next one ain't gonna happen until next year, but I could be wrong. But you don't want to miss this event. It's a beautiful event. It's so well done. It's so fun. It's so spiritually healing. It has a deep effect on people. It truly is a blessing. And I urge those who want to come out to come out. If you don't want to come out alone, invite someone. If you're coming alone and you need someone to walk with me, jump with me. I'm inviting so many people to this thing. I want people to jump around with me. I want people to have fun and realize that we could have fun for the Lord. As we could have fun in a lot of different things, but we could also have fun for the Lord. It's still there. You can still do it. And so I urge those who want to come out, man. It's such a vibe. Like I mentioned before, how I got comfortable with coming out was by attending the sign creation for the march. And so we're doing that again as well on October 26th. We'll be creating signs for the event once again. So if you want to meet the team, if you want to see me because you haven't seen me in a long time and you like my face, hello, hi, I know I'm kind of handsome. Anyway, if you want to come out and do that and meet some of the team and, you know, get more acclimated with what IOT is doing, or just feel more comfortable with the Jesus March, come out on October 26th to the creation of the signs. Oh, if you need more information, message me, man. And I think I'll end it there. The Jesus March is coming back. It's such an impactful thing. We're supposed to spread the good news of the Lord. It's going to be such a fun event, and I hope everyone who is listening to this episode of the pod can make it. And so, yeah, that's where I kind of want to end today. Thank you all so much for listening for this episode. Jesus March Part 2 on October 28th. The vibes are going to be absolutely immaculate. Don't miss out. Sila, we move. God is good. And until next time, take it easy. We move!